So this is where we were last time when we created the bottom navigation bars. So you can move between the bottom navigations, tabs or icons, and then the pages will be switching. That was successful. Now we are going to begin working on each page. So I'm going to the first page, the home screen, right? It's part of my list of screens and it's this one. So I can control and enter or select the file automatically. So right now, let me close this one here so we can have a broader space. All right. Now inside this, instead of the page one, right, the tab bar, I'm going to have a page for chats. It's as if we are doing WhatsApp messaging, right? Chats. So all my chats, you see everybody chats over here. So you see how it is on WhatsApp, Telegram, and other platform. We are going to see build that list of chats basically, right? So now let's start with the very basic component. You can see now I have charts as my tab. We don't need this button here. Let's see the current state of the page. So it's a body centered with a row, and that row has children. The children, these are also a mess, right? Okay, so still in the center, we need to put something here. We need to focus on one list. We are going to focus on one component in the list, like one chart. We are going to focus on it, build it. When we are done building it, then we can scale it up to multiple lists, right? Okay, so what we need to do is that in this row, which is going to be this side, we are going to clean everything. So I want to clean this to here, everything in the children. I've cleaned everything, every single thing. Let's refresh to see the current state. So now it's only charts. So we need to work on the first item in the middle. We are currently putting in the middle. When we are done working on it, you can release it from the middle, be able to have a list of charts here. Okay, so now how do we start? We need to start. There is an inbuilt list item, right? Each component in a list, right? There's a built-in Flutter component or widget that helps us to do that, and its name is ListTile. ListTile. So the very first and only component that we have right now is going to be ListTile. Open it like this. After you do a widget, you need to put a comma in front of it. Now this is the lister now. Okay, now the lister has various components like, so you see have a lot, leading, title, and all that. We are going to see how those things are going to work out soon. Let's start with the title. So let's start with title. So the title, let it be the name of the person, right? So let's say we are testing. So the title is going to be a test, and that test is going to be, let's call it Francis shares, right? That is the name of the person. Then after everything, you need to put a comma. After each argument, you put a comma. Let's see what we have right now. Okay, so there's an error. There's an error on the page. Everything is gone, right? Because the list style, you need to give it. It needs to know. Flutter needs to know the size. List style needs to mean like usually controlled in a size so that it will know where to put what. List style has three major components. It has leading argument. We use that. It has the title. It has um, subtitle if you want. Subtitle if you want. And then we also have, it also has a trailing. Okay, so the leading, so first we need to see what this is. So it has all these components first, right? We need to know that it has all these components. And so whenever it is drawing each of them, it's a Flutter needs to know the size, or at least have an idea of how the size will look like so that they can provide that space for it underneath. But if it doesn't, it's not constrained in a size, it will not come. So you see, when we were inside a row, it's just a row, and the row doesn't have any definite size here. We just say a row, and then we see the alignment of the items are just spaced evenly. So with that in mind, we are rather going to, instead of constraining the size, you need to put the liter, you need to wrap it with flexible. You can do it expanded and flexible, right? We'll explain all these widgets as we move on, but we work with expanded. No, I think we work with one of them before that. Let's go to, we are going to use flexible, right? Flexible allows the size to adjust according to the space provided, right? So now let's refresh this thing. Um, let's refresh this thing. So you see, everything comes back because now the lister is now in a constrained widget, which is flexible. Flexible allow it to actually know the size it needs to provide earlier before it needs to do. But if you don't bring any flexible or expanded, it will not provide that. Okay, right now we cannot see the anything yet. So all we need to do is that we need to actually give it a color. So we are going to say um, tile color, tile color, tile color. So the color of the tile, right? So it's going to be colors dot. Should I say yellow? Um, so what's the color that we give to the top? So let me. Which color should we give this thing right now? So amber, right? Amber accent. Let me just select that one and see how it looks like. Okay, let's refresh this. Okay, this is how it looks like right now, right? So it's actually within this space because it's now in a row and in the center, right? The row is in the center, so that row is brought to the middle. Yeah, that's what the lister is also shown in the middle here. And then everything we are doing so far is just on the lister, right? Okay, we say we are working on the WhatsApp kind of interface, right? So now we are going to talk about the leading. The leading is anything that comes before the title. So I see over here, we want to put something here. So we shift the name Francis share somewhere. We usually have an icon or profile picture of the person here before the name. So that's something that we are going to the leading. The leading allows you to work on or put anything that you want to put at the beginning of that particular lister. So we are calling the argument, I'm commenting it, and then right now I'm going to do icon into bracket icon dot person for now, right? Then let's see what we have. So you see it has this, then the name. So we'll later work on circular avatar, right? That's something I don't want to bring in this session, but then that profile thing we'll work on it later on. We'll work on it later on and be able to bring the circular things over there and then to work because circular avatar is something that we need to actually focus on as well as a separate entity. But because we're working on with icon so far, I'm using that for now, but we will change it later. Okay, with Francis share, that's the name, right? Now we need to the subtitle, right? We are working like WhatsApp kind of message. Does this look nice? Okay, now let's work with subtitle. Subtitle is basically maybe the message that the person has sent, right? So let's say um, also going to be a test, and that test you say, "Are you there?" Let's say, "Hello, hello, Francis. How are you? How are you?" Some informal messaging. Um, Let me refresh. Mm, so you see, this is the name of the person, and you can see the message that we send the person. Hello, Francis. How are you? The recent message or the unread message or whatever. Right now this is it. We need to now add something. The time is usually at the end here. Let's put the time at the end here. So that will be the trailing at the end, trailing at the end, the far end of it. So it's trailing. So we're going to put another test there, right? So what test are we going to put there? Let's say it's 3:24 a.m. something like that, some random time like that. Let that time be the one there. Let's refresh. Yeah, so kind of look like one chat on WhatsApp, right, or on Telegram. But this one is is our own app, so we are going to use our own yellow color, right? So we have Francis shares this, that, and the message. So what we built right now is just one component, one lister. Where is it located? It is inside. So this is it, right? So just flexible and in a flexible, and then this style is here, right? And then we are adjusting all the colors and the transitions and then the name and then the listen, we've understand how we want to. So the leading focus on what comes at the beginning. The title is actually the actual title you want to put there. The subtitle is share the subtitle here. It can be any other thing you are working on. And then there we have the trailing, which is what will be at the end. So basically, so right now, let me tap on this. Nothing is happening, right? I'm tapping on the lister, nothing is happening. So with that, so after typing, we can okay, if someone click on a particular message, right, they need to go, something should happen, right? It should be responsive. So we are going to add another argument called on tap. On tap takes like on press, it's like on pressed that we're working on so far. And then inside it, we there's a comma after it, right? I'm trying to add that comma after it. Always remember that comma. So I'm getting right now. We are just going to print something in the terminal and say tap chat list. Oh, tap chat, that something like that, right? So this is what we are. So once you click on it, that thing should be able to respond, and then we'll see in our terminal here. Let me raise this thing wall, and then let me tap on this. So on tap, you can see what's happening. Wait, my time did not come first. This emulator, okay. So you click on it, you can see in the terminal. I can see in the terminal there there is something showing chat, tapped chat, tapped chat, right? So whenever I click, it's saying tap chat because when you click on the lister, this is what basically happens. All right. Now, okay, this one shows, this one also shows. So we are done with one component, right? We are done with one component. So what's the next thing now? We need to have a multiple of them, not just one in a row, but we actually want them one after the other, one after the. We want to arrange them vertically. We want to arrange them from the top to the down. We want to have multiple of them, right? So if you are doing vertical alignment or vertical arrangement of items, that one we don't use row. We don't use row. We are going to actually use column, right? So we are not going to use this. We are going to change the row to column, right? So I'm having column now. Um, let's refresh this. So nothing seems to have changed right now, right? Okay, so because we are still centering whatever we are having. So children of the column, right? But I want to have it from the top to the down. So what I'm going to, we are spacing evenly. We are going to remove this space evenly and then refresh everything. So now the first one is at the top, but we want the spacing on top of it. So I'll be a bit far from the top, right? So what we do is that we are going to add a space. How do we add a space? We can use size box, right? Size box. Then it's a height because we are going vertically. So we are going to add a height of, let's say, 3, comma, right? So let me just add a space. Okay, there's a little space at the top. Fine, it's fine. So just to 3.0, then there's a little space. But we want to have a group of them, right? So what I want to do is that I would like to copy this with this. Let me copy this guy. This is one we did. Let's copy multiple of them. Copying this. Go to the next line. So let's put a comma here. Second tile. I'm going to paste it here, right? V. Let's refresh. Wow, you see it shows the second tile has shown, but there's no space between them. So we can also copy this space alongside the size box, right? To just kind of put a space between them, or we can go back to space evenly, right? If you want to control universally, right? Let's go. Let's do R. Oh, it's actually doing even spacing, actually dividing the space equally, but that's not what we want. In case we have multiple of them, and that will work. But right now, let's clear that one and just copy this size box thing and put it on top of it, right? So that there will be a space after the first one. There is a space before the next one. Let's see what we have. Let's see the output. Okay, this look kind of look better, right? You can decide not to work with size bars for like WhatsApp distance. We can also remove the size bars and usually use a divider, right? So there's a divider, it's a widget as well um, in Flutter, right? Let's see how the divider change the interface for us. So you see there's a divider. Let me refresh the whole thing. See, the divider already provides a space between the top and the one at the bottom. This is the top and the one at the bottom, right? So this one looks kind of great. So whenever I tap on any of them, there is that stuff. Let's go. So we are going to copy from the divider to the end of the flexible. We copy that and we are going to add as many as possible because you want to make a list. Third, Control V, fourth, add fourth, fifth. Let's see what we have so far. We want to peel the list, right, to the bottom. So we are building, right? It's going. We are building a list, right? It's going. So let's sit um seventh V. Alright. Alright. This one is going. Or eighth, ninth. Let's see. So we have added two, right? We are going to the bottom, right? So see what happened. Okay. So good. Let's add more. So because the chart needs to go down. Let me add more. Alright. Let me add more. Now let's see what happens. Okay. So I'm scrolling. I'm scrolling, but there seems to be some issue, right? As I'm adding, you see the size and things are fixing. There's a kind of disparity and something's happening. It's not really fixing on the full distance as we originally had. Let me add another one and add another one, right? So if I do R, I've added. See how the whole thing became messy, right? This is because we are putting them in a column, and a column, the thing is it will squeezing the thing, but we want the thing to go so that when we scroll, we can scroll them, we can scroll through them, right? But right now what it's doing is that it cannot scroll because we are working with column, right? So inside a raw column, that's what will happen, right? So let's do another thing. Instead of just putting it within a column, we are going to say, okay, so we are not going to remove this center and then put in single. So single child scroll view, right? Let's see what happens. Yes, that issue also comes in, right? So working with column, if you want to have a multiple items in a list like that, we don't use column. That's the thing I want to stress on. We don't use column to do that. Let me remove this. To remove this widget, we go here, we say remove this widget. It will remove. Let me bring it back. I remove the center and I remove everything, right? It brought it back like this, right? So this is a column. And if you want to work with list, we don't use column to work with list. There's a special thing that we use to actually manage lists, right? To be able to handle lists. And then we'll see that in the next session. But this time we just learned how to create a component of a list, right? This is not, if the things are multiple, this is not the best way, but because of the learning say we are going to go to the hard way first. Then we'll later see how to reuse them, create it at one place and be reusing them whenever we want them. Right now it's like if we are copying and pasting everything. Right. But let's look at how to handle all that in the next session.